The phone slipped in my wet palm and hit the concrete with a hollow crack. I was crouched beside a stranger's car, sponge in one hand, hose in the other, soap sliding down my wrists like the residue of every mistake I had ever made. The client stood behind me, watching in silence. Then he spoke softly, almost kindly. "Those shares you signed away years ago," he said, "they were never transferred. On paper, they're still yours." I stared at the reflection of my face in his spotless door. Older than it should be, thinner, broken in places no mirror could show. He continued, casual as if discussing the weather. "I checked the valuation this morning. Your portion is worth $5.7 billion. My fingers locked. The sponge dropped, and for a moment the world went completely quiet. 10 years earlier I had built an empire with my bare hands and a borrowed desk. Every contract, every sleepless night, every risk that nearly killed us, I built it for my family, for my wife, for her father whose name opened doors my work could not. They called me the engine. They called me the spine. Until the day the boardroom turned cold. They didn't shout, they didn't accuse, they simply slid a folder across the polished table. Fraud, mismanagement, violation of trust. My name printed in clean black ink like an obituary. My wife wouldn't meet my eyes. Her father did all the speaking. And her mother, she leaned back in her chair, lips curved in something that almost looked like pleasure. "You were always the weak one," she said. Security walked me out while the company logo still glowed behind me, my creation shining without me. By that night, our accounts were frozen. By morning, the locks were changed. By the end of the week, the divorce papers arrived. Ruthless, efficient, clean. I signed everything they put in front of me, because I was tired, because I was drowning, because I trusted the wrong people. Weeks turned into months, months into years. I went from boardrooms to bus stops, from tailored suits to borrowed uniforms. I learned the language of survival, shift schedules, cheap noodles, aching hands. I washed cars under a sun that burned like accusation, and every night I replayed the same memories. My wife whispering late into the night, phone turned away. Her father holding meetings without me. My resignation contract written in a rush I didn't question. The patterns were there. I just hadn't wanted to see them. I started investigating quietly. Public records first, then archived board filings. I spent nights in internet cafes, my hands still smelling of soap and oil, pulling corporate documents like pulling threads from a buried body. I traced shell companies, trusts, silent partners, and then I found it. The share transfer. The document they claimed stripped me of everything. It was signed, but never executed. No regulatory submission, no confirmation stamp, no ledger update. Legally, I had never ceased to exist. The truth arrived in the form of a digital audit requested under a false client name. The verification took weeks. My heart stayed slow. I had learned not to hope. When the certified statement finally arrived, I didn't breathe. It confirmed it. They fired me. They destroyed my life, but they never took my ownership. I invited my ex-wife for coffee. Neutral place, public, quiet. She arrived perfectly composed, eyes glinting with controlled superiority. The look she had worn the day I was escorted out. She assumed this meeting was about closure, or forgiveness, or money I didn't have. I slid the audit report across the table. Just one page, no words. She read it once, twice. The color drained from her face in stages. Shock first, then calculation, then fear. "They told me you signed everything away," she whispered. "I did," I said calmly. "You just forgot to finish the theft." Her hands trembled. "My father, he'll handle this." "I already have," I replied. Her phone buzzed on the table, once, twice, then again. She didn't answer. She already knew. That evening, regulators froze majority control pending investigation, insider trading, asset concealment, fraud conducted through her father's private holding group. The empire we built collapsed in silence. The law is louder than revenge. Her parents lost everything in a single quarter: homes, immunity, influence. The same board that once escorted me out removed them without ceremony. I watched the press conference alone on an old television in my rented room. A week later, my legal status was restored. My name returned to the ledger like it had never left. The company is no longer my battlefield. I declined executive control. I retained ownership, but not presence. Power tastes different when you've starved. I saw her one last time outside the courthouse. Her eyes searched for something in me: guilt, mercy, memory. I felt none of it. Cold clarity has no room for ghosts. I still wash cars, not because I need to, because I choose to.